read the message that the Untoward put out via, I think I've seen it twice on BBC, but I think he might be via his own Instagram post, so let's just go to it. States the following: Bronze Bomber. Wow, what a hell of a night. I'd like to first and foremost thank God for allowing me to give the world another part of me that's driven with passion and determination. I'd like to thank my team and my fans for sticking by my side through this long process. I would be lying if I said I wasn't disappointed in the outcome, but after reflecting on my journey, and I'll see that what God wanted me to experience is far greater than what I expected to happen. We didn't get the win, but a wise man once said, the victories are within the lessons. I've learned that sometimes you have to lose to win. Although I wanted to win, I enjoyed seeing the fans win even more. Hopefully I proved I am a true warrior and a true king in this sport. Hopefully we proved that no matter how hard you get hit with trials and tribulations, you can always pick yourself up to live and fight again for what you believe in. Last but not least, I would like to congratulate Ldbc King 101, Tyson Fury, for his victory, and thank you for the great historical memories that will last forever.
So believe me when I tell you, this is not a skills assessment, and in that way, this is not a pound-for-pound list. This is a popularity contest. That's why Tyson Fury is there. Tyson Fury is there ahead of a 2-division champion in Alexander Usyk that has done something that Tyson Fury hasn't done. Tyson Fury's never been an undisputed champion. He's been a unified champion.
And a 2-time heavyweight champion.
But he's never been undisputed. He's never been a champion at 2 weights.
He's never cleaned out an entire division.
Let alone in under 20 fights.
And never mind that he's a fucking heavyweight.
A common stumbling block for a lot of people who insist on ranking heavyweights on a pound-for-pound list, even though pound-for-pound lists aren't for heavyweights, not career heavyweights, not guys that debuted there and have been there their entire careers.
Traditionally, it's not for them.
So MTK Global represent Tyson Fury, and obviously they're elated that Tyson Fury came through. And they've posted this, and this is part of a pattern that you're going to see, and slightly relates to what I'm going to talk about in the main. They state the following: the biggest voices from music, film, sport and media unite to hail the King Tyson Fury. That's not true. What a lot of them did, and what I'm going to do is put a magnifying glass on some of them. You won't be able to see it anyway, but what you will see is that what a lot of them are doing is hailing the fight. Like for example, Ricky Gervais, what a fight. L. Spence, what a fight. Ricky Gervais said, what a fucking fight. Dwayne Johnson, what a fight. You know, they were hailing both fighters. Of course, you got Frank Bruno and Tyson Fury, and obviously that's a different thing entirely. It's a British thing. For the most part, most of them will hail in the fight, but MTK Global will make it about Tyson Fury, and this is going to be the problem. And I am going to insist that the Ldbc helped create this problem.
They don't understand what they created. They created a monster. They created a monster.
Both a pack of losers, and they both ain't worth a sausage. So he couldn't teach him anything. Man couldn't fight himself, he was a shithouse. So when you got shithouse teaching another shithouse how to fight, you're in for a real pack of shithouse cowards. Look at the state of him. His heart's rattling now. His balls have sunk up inside of him. There's a man here that's going to annihilate your daughter. Me, the Ldbc King. Tyson Fury's the name. And fucking fighting's the game. There ain't a man born from his mother's cunt can beat the Ldbc King. Never mind a sausage like that there.
For Scene 1 of Macbeth, the witches meet and brew a potion in their cauldron. Hecate arrives and praises their efforts, and then Macbeth appears. 3 apparitions rise from the cauldron, each giving Macbeth information about his future. The first apparition is a helmeted head that warns Macbeth to beware of Macduff. Macbeth is grateful for the warning. The second is a bloodied child who assures Macbeth that none of woman born shall harm him. At this, Macbeth decides Macduff is not a threat, but he plans to kill him anyway, just to be safe. The third apparition is another child, this one wearing a crown and holding a tree in its hand. It says Macbeth will hold the throne until Great Burnham Wood comes to Dunsinane Hill. Because it doesn't seem possible that an entire forest could move, Macbeth takes reassurance from this omen as well. After the last apparition, Macbeth demands to know more.
Again, so Deontay Wilder saw both styles. Tyson Fury saw one style from Deontay Wilder. One style is all he's ever seen. He has not seen this style of fight that Deontay Wilder is fighting now. He's not seen it. He has not seen it. All he saw is snippets of what Wilder wanted him to see. That's all he saw. He has never seen, he has not fought this version of Deontay Wilder. He has not. He has not fought the version that's going to throw a feint, which is the most devastating thing that Deontay Wilder can ever do in boxing, period, is throw a feint. Because a feint will throw Tyson Fury's off, he will throw him off, he will throw him off, which will open up Deontay Wilder's punches. Yes, we laid out all of the excuses that Deontay Wilder supposedly made, which he didn't. Those were questions that he was asked and he answered. But let's get to something now. Tyson Fury has been looking extremely shaky, y'all. Extremely shaky. Rolling Red was popping, Brody. Extremely shaky. Point in case number 1. You said that you never was fighting this man ever again. But you have Tyson Fury who refused to fight this man. All right? Stay with me. I'm gonna take you down this road with me. Stay with me. He refused to fight this man. The best way for him to have beaten Deontay Wilder was to fight him again in the immediate rematch. The same troll or other trolls, whatever they are, they keep coming in, talking about Wilder losing. But not one of them has mentioned the excuse they will make when Tyson Fury gets slaughtered. Not one. Not one. Not one person yet, not one yet, has came in here and said what they will say when Tyson Fury gets knocked out. Pause. Let me help y'all. Let me give y'all a different road. Yeah, let me give y'all a different road. Fuck the knockout. What is y'all pussy niggas gonna say when Deontay Wilder outboxes this man and potentially wins unanimous decision on the scorecards? Let me say it again. Let me say this again. What are you guys gonna say if Deontay Wilder outboxes this man and wins a unanimous decision on the scorecards? Because I say again, Deontay Wilder saw the boxer in Tyson Fury. Deontay Wilder saw the puncher in Tyson Fury. He saw them both. He can game plan for both. He can game plan for both. Let me explain this again. Deontay Wilder has seen the puncher in Tyson Fury. He saw the brawler. He saw the boxer. He can game plan for both. Tyson Fury must make this up on the fly. The only thing he knows from Deontay Wilder is the puncher. That's all he knows. That's all he knows. He does not know the boxer. Now let me explain the difference. If Deontay Wilder, the puncher, Tyson Fury can wait for those punches. He can roll those shots. He can clinch. He can do that. That stops the puncher, y'all. You know, that stops the puncher. You take some of the steam off the shot when you roll with it. You take some of the steam off. You stop the puncher from doing what the puncher wants to do when you grab the puncher. What do you do with the boxer who can punch? What do you do with the boxer who can punch? What do you do? What fighter did Tyson Fury fight who was a boxer that can punch? Who? Vladimir Klitschko. Wrong. Vladimir Klitschko is a puncher. Vladimir Klitschko is a puncher. He's not a boxer. He's a puncher. Vladimir Klitschko will hit you and hold you. He's a puncher. He's not a boxer. He's a puncher. Oh no, I gotta disagree with you. Vladimir Klitschko's a boxer. Oh yeah, who'd he box? Who'd he box? Vladimir Klitschko hit you and grabbed you. He hit you and held you. He relied on his power. He hit you and held you. When he couldn't rely on his power, he lost.
Alright, so I'm gonna just give you my assessment of the Deontay Wilder Tyson Fury trilogy. Or maybe I should say Tyson Fury Deontay Wilder trilogy, even though it took place in Deontay Wilder's backyard. Now my belief is this, is that Deontay Wilder is getting some credit for this loss, which he doesn't deserve. And I'm not saying you shouldn't give it to him, I'm saying that subjectively. Personally, I don't think he should get as much credit as he's getting, because I feel that the credit that he's getting for losing has a more sinister purpose, and that purpose is to make Tyson Fury a boxing god. You can already see that attitude being displayed by his father, who says that Anthony Joshua and Dillian Whyte are unworthy of fighting his son. It's got to be Usyk or nobody else. This wasn't the type of attitude he had when he was going around in his caravan saying that he was a simple guy and he didn't want to go over to America and it's a land of sin. Suddenly, his son's too good for all the British competitors. But you know, that was what we were supposed to expect. That was what we kind of anticipated was going to happen. That's why the fight between Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder was always going to be a dilemma, in the sense that there was never going to be a favorable outcome that was going to really satisfy the need to get to undisputed or whatever else. And basically, there was not going to be a satisfactory outcome, unless, of course, you were a Tyson Fury fanboy and or a Deontay Wilder fanboy expecting Deontay Wilder to win. Now, speaking on the latter group of people, for the life of me, I couldn't understand where they got that confidence, that belief that somehow Deontay Wilder was going to win this fight. I really didn't see. I don't know. Maybe is it? I really hope that they are men. It's a good thing they're men and not women, because they are easily seduced. Men, I swear to God, man, they are easily pimped. All Malik Scott had to do over a period of time was show them a couple of bullshit on the mitts, exaggerate the power of Deontay Wilder, pretend like he was being hit to the body to the point of vomiting and all this type of stuff, and there they were. And I hate to use this terminology, but it is what it is. It's just apropos, wetting their panties. And I've got to say that there are some of these people that I believe should not be doing that. There are some people who have been in the military, who have families, who have been, I mean, they're in their 40s and 50s, and yet still, they were getting suckered in by this stuff. That being said, I'm not here to really condemn Malik Scott as such. It's just like, I just felt like, listen, they were spewing some poisonous stuff, man. They were talking about, this guy needs to die. I want Deontay Wilder to kill him in front of his family, to kill his... I can't even begin to get into it. It was very toxic. And I have a feeling that they meant it, which suggests to me that was an article of faith. It was almost like they believed that somehow there was some higher power of divinity that said, that actually gave them prophecy. And I'm watching Tyson Fury, right? And the dude, right, I know one thing about him. If he's not gonna win, he's not gonna take the fight. He doesn't care what you think. If he's not gonna win, he's just gonna lie, like I suppose what he did with COVID. If he's not ready, he's just gonna find a way to lie and postpone the fight again. That's what he would. The fact that he took the fight suggests to me that I knew he was gonna win. He was gonna win. And you know, the funny thing is this. Bottom line, I said from way back, Deontay Wilder wasn't going to win until he started telling the truth. There was no way he was gonna win that fight. Unless you tell the truth, face the fact that you lost because you did not train properly. You haven't been training properly for God knows how long. You've been getting away with a load of bullshit. You had a lot of power, plus you've been catching people when they break them up, you quickly throw out 1-2. And even if you don't knock them out then you have them concussed. You've been getting very lucky. All you just needed to do was swing away and that's it. You didn't want to change that style. Alright, so you got this guy, and like somebody actually used a good analogy. You knocked him once, he got up. You could say it's a long count. Then he came back fighting. And after that, every time you knocked him, I kind of knew, like, you know what? He's felt that snake bite. He's becoming immune. His system's adapted. And ever since then, he's been inoculated or vaccinated, if you like, against Deontay Wilder. It is what it is. It is what it is. And that's why, you know, I personally don't believe that he'd be getting as much credit as they're giving him right now because he lost. I don't think it's a good look at all. Listen, I could go a little bit further into it, but I don't think I have the energy or strength or, you know, the desire to want to get into it as such, because there's a certain aspect of it that makes me sad, and I don't want to go against his fans as such, because I see the fans of Tyson Fury right now, but I do feel that the whole situation is kind of sad, because I knew ultimately that whether you like it or not, white supremacy is going to rear its ugly head, and suddenly Tyson Fury is going to become a god. But I'm not sure it's going to last though, because, you know, the one good thing about this whole thing is Tyson Fury has a habit to self-sabotage. But here's the thing, you know, it's kind of weird. Leading up to the fight, I didn't really want to give a shit. Whoever won.
There was no good outcome as far as I was concerned. Alright? If Deontay Wilder won, it was going to be shit. As the fight got closer, I started analysing when I thought, you know what, I was listening to Deontay Wilder fans and I thought, if Deontay Wilder won this, which I don't think he's going to, but if he did win this, this will be an absolute disaster. This will be an absolute nightmare. I was listening to these guys, and all they want to do is just pound their chest and say, yeah, I'm loyal to Deontay Wilder. Who gives a shit? Why, when did Deontay Wilder become a loyalty test for black people? It is one of the most absurd shit. And the guy was just, oh my goodness, it was just crazy. This is crazy. I don't even want to go in on fucking Ldbc dudes or whatever right now, because I know they're hurting. A lot of them lost money. Lost money betting because they believed. This belief was weird. This belief was fucking weird. Let me put it this way. I cannot credit Deontay Wilder for this reason. Let's ignore the way that you claim that you brought the guy back, that you encouraged Tyson Fury to come back. Let's ignore the individual struggle that Tyson Fury would have had to go through in order to make the first fight. But let's not ignore it as well, because here's the thing. I know that sounds kind of paradoxical, but let's not ignore it as well, because here's the thing. If you say that you brought him back, that means you were way ahead of the guy. You were way ahead of the guy as an athletic, strong, powerful black man in his prime. And within 3 fights of you fighting this doughy white guy, he's annihilated you. He's destroyed you. I mean, let's just keep it. He's destroyed you. Honestly, bottom line is this: the symbolism, everything. I tell you, he should have told the truth, because God, if there is a God, wanted to show these guys. They ain't gonna heed it though. Look at Deontay Wilder after he got knocked out. What did he do? He went into a fetal position. That's why they could put that teddy bear in his arms like a child. After he got knocked out, Deontay Wilder on the ground went into a fetal position like he was in the womb. It was crazy. He wanted to go out on his shield. Nah. That there. It was the apotheosis of a white god of boxing. Helped along by the Ldbc and Deontay Wilder. And for that alone, that act alone is unforgivable. Everything they did, misguided bullshit. And this is why I say, no matter what, and it's a joke. It's a joke. But there is a difference between black people and niggas. Niggas don't like nobody. I have to be grateful to a certain degree, because niggas back Deontay Wilder. Niggas back Deontay Wilder. It was a nigger movement. That's why you saw them. That's why I said that they were very similar to Hebrew Israelites in their makeup. They didn't bring a lot of women. It was all these grown-ass men, malcontents, harping on and crying about white supremacy. Talking about how he changed their life somehow. I'm thinking, like, you're grown-ass men. Some of them with kids. You're talking about Deontay Wilder was an inspiration for you. He's about probably young. Listen, younger than some. Deontay Wilder's what, 35? Some of these guys were 40, 45, 42, 40, nearly 50 like me. I'm not talking about Deontay Wilder inspired them. You want to tell me after all, during all these years, your father can get through to you. Your uncle can get through to you. Your teacher can get through to you. No man alive could get through to you except this boxer who can't even say confidently properly. Competent. I'm really competent. I'm pretty competent. Yeah, I'm gonna be victorious. This is a guy? For what? Because he can punch hard? That's it? And he created this bullshit myth around it? My grandmama told me I'm special. He created some bullshit myth around it. How long you guys been around? Anyway, I don't want to dwell on it too long. Man. This is just my first take. It's not going to be a great take, but this is just my first take on it. You know what I'm saying? I've had to listen. There's a lot of stuff I've had to process. But hey, I gotta be honest though, here's my thing. I don't think he's a warrior. I don't think he went out like a warrior. I think it was the dumbest shit to do. You know what I'm saying? I think that he just took a beating for nothing. And the white media that are calling him a warrior, they're not calling him a warrior because they think he's a stupid motherfucker, to be honest with you, who took a beating just to make the other, like, the guy that they really like look great. And if you feel that what happened with Anthony Joshua and Andy Ruiz was a problem, just look at the way Tyson Fury looked in that fight compared to this strong-looking black man who just simply could not box and was deluded and lying to himself. Okay? And another thing, did not spend the money the right way. He needed to invest heavily in making sure that he won that fight. Instead, he was training in his sitting room, put a ring in his house, in his home. He needed to leave that fucking environment, put himself in a very difficult environment, and most importantly, he needed a nutritionist who was going to make sure that they cooked the right meals that was going to give him the right amount of energy with the right amount of lean muscle. This motherfucker showed up with a pot belly, with six-pack, a pot belly six-pack, which tells me that the nutritionist was some bogus-ass nutritionist that they had. Who was the nutritionist, as a matter of fact? I bet it was Joey Scott. I bet it was Joey Scott or his wifey. Because you know what? Because he keeps on trying to save money. Same thing with Malik Scott, to keep it real with you. He was never going to win with Malik Scott. What the fuck are you talking about? He was never going to win that fight with Malik Scott. He was probably going to give a better performance. That was about it, if you call it that. But he was never going to win with Malik Scott. I was watching it. It was just myths and bullshit and dancing around and psyching themselves up 2 times. You didn't make it. Listen, let me give you a history lesson. What's his name? Floyd Patterson lost. Ingemar Johansson from Sweden. Got dropped about 5 to 7 times, I can't remember. Went back, stopped Ingemar Johansson 2 times. I think he's the first 2 time, if I'm not mistaken. All right, he's the first 2 time. What's his name? Yeah, that's it. Joe Louis. Fucking can't remember. You know, I had it in my head. Joe Louis lost to Marshmelly, right? All right, comes back 2 times. 3 times this month. Listen, 3 times. Well, 2 times he lost. First time a draw, didn't lose his belt. Then he lost. He's the guy who could not win against a white nemesis and got beaten up badly in the process. Beaten up so much he had to curl up in a fucking fetal position afterward. Man, I can't fuck with that. I'm sorry. And over time, no matter how much you try to salvage it, you will realize that the people who are saying that he's a hero are only saying that because it makes the white guy look like a god.